This
या
conference will
अली
now be
अल्लाह
recorded.
परवरदिगार, ला फता इल्ला अली, ला सैफ इल्ला जुल्फिकार, ला फता इल्ला अली, ला सैफ इल्ला जुल्फिकार, अल मदद अल मदद, या अली अल्लाह परवरदिगार, अल मदद अल मदद, या अली अल्लाह परवरदिगार, ला फता इल्ला अली, ला सैफ इल्ला जुल्फिकार, ला फता इल्ला अली, ला सैफ इल्ला जुल्फिकार, अल मदद या अली अल्लाह परवरदिगार, अल मदद या अली अल्लाह परवरदिगार, ला फता इल्ला अली, ला सैफ इल्ला जुल्फिकार, ला फता इल्ला अली, ला सैफ इल्ला जुल्फिकार, अल मदद या अली अल्लाह परवरदिगार, अल मदद या अली अल्लाह परवरदिगार, ला फता इल्ला अली, ला सैफ इल्ला जुल्फिकार, ला फता इल्ला अली, ला सैफ इल्ला जुल्फिकार, अल मदद या अली अल्लाह परवरदिगार, अल मदद या अली अल्लाह परवरदिगार, ला फता इल्ला अली, ला सैफ इल्ला जुल्फिकार, ला फता इल्ला अली, ला सैफ इल्ला जुल्फिकार, अल मदद या अली अल्लाह परवरदिगार, अल मदद या अली अल्लाह परवरदिगार, ला फता इल्ला अली, ला सैफ इल्ला जुल्फिकार, ला फता इल्ला अली, ला सैफ इल्ला जुल्फिकार, अल मदद या अली अल्लाह परवरदिगार, अल मदद या अली अल्लाह परवरदिगार, ला फता इल्ला अली, ला सैफ इल्ला जुल्फिकार, ला फता इल्ला अली, ला सैफ इल्ला जुल्फिकार, अल मदद या अली अल्लाह परवरदिगार, अल मदद या अली अल्लाह परवरदिगार, ला फता इल्ला अली, ला सैफ इल्ला जुल्फिकार, ला फता इल्ला अली, ला सैफ इल्ला जुल्फिकार, अल मदद या अली अल्लाह परवरदिगार, अल मदद या अली अल्लाह परवरदिगार, ला फता इल्ला अली, ला सैफ इल्ला जुल्फिकार, ला फता इल्ला अली, ला सैफ इल्ला जुल्फिकार, अल मदद या अली अल्लाह परवरदिगार, अल मदद या अली अल्लाह परवरदिगार। शुक्रान लिल्लाह वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह। या अली मदद सर।
Ya Ali Madad sir. Ya Ali Madad
Ya
friend.
Ali Madad.
Madad.
Ya Ali Madad. Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad sir.
Ya Ali
Madad.
Madad.
Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad. Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad. Ya Ali Madad. तमाम दोस्तों को या अली मदद मौला के मुबारक नाम से एक बार फिर हम कलाम इमाम मुबीन फरमान नंबर 23 से आज के सेशन का आगाज करेंगे। नूर मौलाना शाह करीम अल हुसैनी हाजिर इमाम या मौलाए मेहरबान अलहयुल कय्यूम अली अल्लाह मदद फरमा। या मौला तौफीक ताईद हिम्मत व यारी। या मौला तौफीक ताईद हिम्मत व यारी। या मौला अपनी मीठी नजर हम गरीबों पर रखना मौला, ताकि हम कोई इल्मी काम कर सके मौला। तू जानता है हमारी कमजोरियों को मौला। या मौला हम गरीबों को तौफीक ताईद हिम्मत व यारी इनायत फरमा मौला। कलाम इमाम मुबीन हजरत इमाम आका सुल्तान मोहम्मद शाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मदिन व आले मोहम्मद अपने इस फरमान में आगे फरमाते हैं, अगर तुम्हें दीदार चाहिए तो जमात खाने में हमेशा दुआ पढ़ने के लिए आओ। जिस वक्त दुआ पढ़ते हो उस वक्त हम तुम्हें दीदार देते हैं। आप में से हमारे वो साथी जो पिछले हफ्ते हमारे साथ थे, हमने यहाँ पर इस फरमान को रोका था और तवज्जो देने के लिए दरखास्त की थी। So those of our friend who remember from our previous session that we had stopped at this line of Farman where our Imam says, if you like didar of the Imam, come to Jamaat Khana, and every time you recite the dua, I will be there to give you didar, as I am always in Jamaat Khana. And we have left it at this line on this thought, and we had asked friends, the listeners, to think about it. And Nachiz had recommended a lecture on this very subject. There's a whole lecture. It's not a long lecture, about 20 minutes, called Firm Believe. Firm Believe. एक छोटा सा लेक्चर है जिसका नाम है फर्म बिलीव। उसकी तरफ इशारा करते हुए दरखास्त की गई थी कि आप अगर इस बात को समझना चाहते हैं, if you like to understand this in more detail, listen to this Farman and then listen to this small session, recorded session called Firm Belief. Pakka Yaqeen. Then you will understand how Imam gives didar in Jamaat Khana every time we go to Jamaat Khana. Because you and me, we have been going to Jamaat Khana for 40, 50, 60 years. Where is that didar? Where is that didar? That was the question. Nozbillah, Imam is just telling us something which is not true. नौज़बिल्लाह क्या ऐसा है कि इमाम हमें कोई ऐसी बात बता रहे हैं जिसके अंदर सच्चाई नहीं, या हमारे अंदर कोई कमी कोताही है, or maybe we are not doing something we should be doing. Because Imam says if you come to Jamaat Khana, if you recite your dua, you will receive the didar. I am in Jamaat Khana. That was the last line where we have left. I hope some of you have received that session, that lecture, have listened to it, and now understand how can we receive didar every single day in Jamaat Khana when we go for dua. So let's come and read this Farman further with this understanding and this question, this thought in mind. चले आगे चलते हैं. मौला फरमाते हैं हम हमेशा दुआ के वक्त जमात खाने में हाजिर है, इसलिए हमेशा जमात खाने में आते रहना. इमाम ने ग्वादर जमात के मुखी को फरमाया वक्त पर कोई दुआ पढ़ने ना आए तो दूसरे दिन सुबह के वक्त पूछो कि तुम क्यों नहीं आए थे. नरमी से पूछना और कोई जुर्माना भी नहीं रखना, इस तरीके से उससे पूछना. Mullah is giving a firm duty to the mukhi of that time because the Jamaat was small. And what kind of farman this would be? If you remember 4 kind of farman. Farman by time, farman by location, farman of the dunya, and farman of the deen. So which farman this would be? This farman is in the time and the place. Because today, in some of the large Jamaat Khana, where we have a Jamaat of 10, 20,000 people, it would be hard to see who is coming to Jamaat Khana, who's not. And remember, this is a primary level education. आज के ज़माने में मुखी को ध्यान रखना जहाँ पर 10-20 हज़ार की जमात है मुश्किल होगा, लेकिन याद रखें कि ये प्राइमरी लेवल की एजुकेशन है और ये फरमान, ये लाइन ऑफ फरमान वक्त और जगह के ऊपर महदूद है. यानी कि एक चीज जो एक जमाने में पॉसिबल होती है और उस जमाने के अंदर एक फरमान किया जाता है. If you don't remember the 4 type of farman, ask at the end and we can explain again. So this line was limited to time and space. Further, Mullah says, झूठ बोलने से इबादत में नुकसान होता है. And then Mullah asks question, why is that? ऐसा क्यों होता है? इसकी वजह यह है कि एक दिन झूठ बोलोगे, दूसरे दिन गिबत करोगे, तीसरे दिन पराया माल इस्तेमाल करोगे. इस तरह करते करते गुनाहों में गिरफ्तार हो जाओगे. इसलिए झूठ बिल्कुल नहीं बोलना. What an amazing way of teaching. कि झूठ जो है वो बुनियाद है गुनाहों की और बीमारियों की। झूठ, बीमारियों, कौन सी बीमारी? Spiritual illness. Lying is the sickness of your soul, and that is the base of all of the spiritual illness of your soul. मौला फरमाते हैं अगर आपने झूठ बोला तो फिर कल गीला की बात करेंगे, फिर पराये माल की तरफ नजर करेंगे, and eventually you will be completely involved in the way of the sin, and therefore do not lie. यहाँ पर थोड़ा सा समझने की जरूरत है, हमें थोड़ा सा और एलिब्रेशन करने की जरूरत है, just for our understanding. Because when a person lies, especially we are talking about the mu'min, there are lies and there are bigger lies. Gossiping, backbiting, taking other people's things, doing bad deeds are all part of lying. दूसरों की चीजों को खा जाना, गिला गिबत करना, हर गुनाह का जो बेस है वो झूठ बोलने से शुरू होता है। क्यों? कि जब हम गिला गिबत करते हैं तो उसमें बहुत सारी बातें झूठी होती है। हम एक छोटे से झूठ को लेकर बड़ा चढ़ाकर झूठ बोलकर गिला गिबत करते हैं, क्योंकि जब हम गिला गिबत करने के लिए बैठते हैं तो वो एक छोटा सा झूठ बड़ा झूठ बन जाता है। क्योंकि अगर आदत है झूठ बोलने की, इसीलिए मौला ने फरमाया और इसीलिए गिनानों में पीरों ने समझाया कि जहां पर नींदा थाए ત્યાં से उठीने चालवानो, because that is the part of a lie. वहां पर झूठ पलता पड़ता है। That's where the lie gets the nourishment. Where you are sitting and gossiping, backbiting about others. That's where the lie gets its nourishment. आपने देखा कि किस तरह से एक झूठ आपको बहुत सारे झूठ बोलने पर हावी करता है, आपको दावत देता है कि देखिए एक झूठ बोला कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, दो झूठ बोले कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, तीन झूठ बोले कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है। और करते 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 हम दूसरी बुराइयों के अंदर इन्वॉल्व हो जाते हैं और हमें पता भी नहीं चलता है। ईमानदारी, सच्चाई बहुत जरूरी है ईमान के लिए, इबादत के लिए। अब देखें कि मौला फरमाते हैं कि जो झूठ बोलता है वो इबादत नहीं कर सकता है, उसकी इबादत में खलल पड़ता है, नुकसान होता है। Those who lie are not able to do ibadat because it disturbs them in their ibadat. Because your heart, your thoughts are no longer pure. The purification that you needed to do the ibadat is no longer there due to the bad habits of lying, gossiping, etc. इसलिए मोमिन के लिए it is very important that they stay away from untruth things, whatever that may be. झूठ बोलने के लिए इमाम मुस्तनसिबिल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि अपने पीर पंदियात जवाब मर्दी में फरमाते हैं कि झूठ के अंदर एक बहुत बड़ा झूठ है, और वो है इमाम को इमाम ना मानना। Even in the lie, there is the highest level of lie, and that is say that Imam is not Imam. अब आप बोलेंगे कि हम तो सब इस्माइली है. You may say we are all Ismaili. None of us ever would say Imam is not Imam. But Imam को सिर्फ आदमी समझना, यही सबसे बड़ा झूठ है. Imam who is the Noor of Ali Allah, and then just call him that he is nothing more than a human. That is the biggest lie. That is the biggest lie. तो आपने देखा कि झूठ के अंदर भी एक बड़ा झूठ है, और ये बड़ा झूठ जो है वो कंसेप्शनल अकीदे के खिलाफ है. जब हम इमाम को उसके असल नूर के साथ अली अल्लाह कहते हुए मानते हैं, तो मौला आका सुल्तान मोहम्मद शाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि फरमाते हैं दार इस सलाम 1945 में कि अगर आप अली अल्लाह नहीं कहते हैं तो बेहतर है आप दुआ ही छोड़ दें, दुआ ही ना पढ़े. Because if you're going to involve yourself in a lie, and if you refuse to accept the Noor of the Imam as an Ali Allah, then it is better you do not say your dua, because there is no use. So यहाँ पर मौला फरमाते हैं कि दुआ इबादत के अंदर जो है वो नुकसान होता है अगर आप झूठ बोलते हैं, इसलिए झूठ बिल्कुल ना बोलें. दुआ पढ़ने के लिए हमेशा आते रहना, अगर एक मर्तबा ना आ सको तो दूसरी मर्तबा आना. Do you see the leniency, right? If you miss a day and you are not able to perform your dua, then don't forget. Come as soon as you can. Pray, give your dua as soon as possible. Come to Jamaat Khana. If you could not go today, try to go tomorrow. But do, if Jamaat Khana is available and Jamaat Khana is open, and if you have no problem going to Jamaat Khana, because there are conditions, right? If you cannot go for whatever medical, physical reason, there's another thing. But if it's possible, one must go to Jamaat Khana. Acha. Let's come forward. अगर दूसरी मर्तबा ना सको तो तीसरी मर्तबा जरूर आना. मोमिन पर वाजिब है कि हमेशा जमात खाने आए. इसके बाद मौला फरमाते हैं दुनिया में 4 तरह के लोग हैं. Listen to this, this is very important. दुनिया में 4 तरह के लोग हैं. पहली किस्म के लोग वो है वो हमें चाहते हैं और दुनिया को नहीं चाहते हैं. There are 4 kind of people in this world. One who loves us and one who does not love us. So first one who loves us and they do not love the world. जो हमें चाहते हैं और दुनिया को नहीं चाहते हैं. Mullah said those are the first kind. The second kind, वो हमें चाहते हैं और दुनिया को भी चाहते हैं. They love us, but they also love the world. हम उनके लिए दुआ फरमाते हैं कि उनकी दुनिया पर से मोहब्बत कम हो और हमारे ऊपर मोहब्बत बढ़े. Listen to this very careful. The first kind who loves us, who keeps our love in their heart. If you would go back to the last session, just last week, we had talked about that. We live in this world. हम दुनिया में रहते तो हैं, लेकिन दुनिया की लालच को दिल में नहीं रखना, ईमान की मोहब्बत को दिल में रखना. We live in this world, definitely, no doubt. But do not keep the greed of the world in your heart, but the love of the Imam in your heart. Mullah says there are second kind of people who keeps my thought, my love in their heart, and the love of the world, the greed of the world in their heart. Mullah says, I pray for them that their love for the world decreases and their love for the Imam increases. Then third kind, जो हमें नहीं चाहते हैं और दुनिया ही को चाहते हैं, वो हमें तकलीफ नहीं पहुंचाते. जब उनको हमारी फिक्र नहीं तो हमें भी उनकी फिक्र नहीं. Third kind of people. Like I said, this is very important. If you have a paper pencil, I would write down this as the lesson of the day. But I said there are third kind of person who do not love us. They love this world. They don't bother me, Mullah says. They do not bother me. Matter of fact, they are not worried about me. I'm not worried about them. Remember, this Farman is given to the Ismaili Jamaat. This Farman is not given to the other people in the world. ये फरमान हमें इस्माइलियों को दिया गया है, ये दुनिया के लोगों को नहीं दिया गया है. इमाम किसकी बात कर रहे हैं? Who are Imam referring to? Imam is referring to us. If we love the world, हमारी तवज्जो पैसे, गाड़ी, बंगला, फैमिली, दुनिया और दुनिया के अंदर है. If our mind and thought are on the world, the money, the greed of the bigger and bigger things, and our mind is on family and the children and not on the Imam, then Mullah says, you don't bother me. If you are not worried about me, I'm not worried about you. Can you imagine how dangerous that would be to our soul? अब खाली ख्याल करें कि अगर इमाम हमारे ऊपर नजर नहीं रखता है तो ये हमारी रूह के लिए कितना बुरा होगा. It would be a danger to our soul if Imam's mithi nazar, Imam's eyes, Imam's guidance, Imam rahmat, Imam's khanawadan, the blessing, the mercy of the Imam is not on us. How will we ever receive salvation? अगर इमाम की प्यार मोहब्बत खानावदान दुआ आशीष हमारे पर नहीं है तो हम किस तरह से निजात पाएंगे? लेकिन इसका दारोमदार आपके हाथ में है कि आपके दिल में इमाम का प्यार है या दुनिया और दुनिया है, वो आपके ऊपर है. मुल्ला फरमाते हैं, यू डोंट बॉदर मी, आई एम नॉट वरी अबाउट यू. आगे चलते हैं. The fourth kind, the last kind, वो दुनिया को चाहते हैं, हमें नहीं चाहते हैं, हमें दुख यानी तकलीफ पहुंचाते हैं. Then amongst them are those who love the world they do not love me, and they bother me. They hurt us. कब हम इमाम को तकलीफ पहुंचाते हैं? कब हम इमाम को तकलीफ पहुंचाते हैं? जब हम इमाम के फरमान को नहीं मानते हैं, जब हम इमाम को नहीं समझते हैं, जब हम हमारे तरीके के अंदर ऐसी बातें करते हैं जो हमारे भाई बहनों के लिए, हमारी जमात के लिए, हमारी जमात के ईमान के ऊपर उसका असर पड़ता है। जब हम जमात को तकलीफ पहुंचाते हैं तो वल्लाह हम इमाम को तकलीफ पहुंचाते हैं। अगर हम इमाम को चाहते हैं तो हम कभी भी जमात को तकलीफ नहीं पहुंचाते हैं। You know, that is amazing. खाली हमको सोचने की लिए जरूरत है। I want to put this thought in your mind. आप अपने समझ के अंदर एक बात को याद रखें। We all love Mola Bapa, no doubt. Am I right? Everyone on this line, why even would you wake up this early in the morning to listen to the Farman and his understanding? क्यों आप शाम के वक्त जहां पर भी आप है इंडिया पाकिस्तान में अपना 1 घंटा इमाम के फरमान को सुनने के लिए आते हैं? हम बेशक इमाम से प्यार करते हैं, लेकिन हम इमाम की जमात, इमाम के रूहानी बच्चों से प्यार नहीं करते हैं, बल्कि कभी कभार हम इमाम के प्यारे बच्चों को, रूहानी बच्चों को, जमात को जब तकलीफ पहुंचाते हैं तो हम इमाम को तकलीफ पहुंचाते हैं। आप इस बात को याद रखना। Remember, we all love Imam, there is no doubt, but we do not love our brother and sister in our Jamaat. When we hurt, when we make them uncomfortable, when we do whatever to make their life miserable, we are hurting the Imam. Remember, they are Imam's spiritual children. A parent cannot be happy with you if you hurt their children. कभी भी माँ बाप खुश नहीं होंगे अगर आप उनके बच्चों को तकलीफ पहुंचाते होगे। आपने देखा? Keep this thought in your mind कि कहीं God forbidden हम इमाम के रूहानी बच्चे, जमात को, भाई बहनों को तकलीफ तो नहीं पहुंचा रहे हैं, क्योंकि उनको तकलीफ पहुंचाना है, इमाम को तकलीफ पहुंचाना है। मौला फरमाते हैं कि ये लोग जो हमें तकलीफ पहुंचाते हैं तो हम भी उनके हक में दुआ करते हैं कि खुदा उनको हमसे दूर रखे। अली अल्लाह मदद फरमा। या मौला, always stay with us, always keep us close to your heart, close to your thought. खुदा ना करे कभी इमाम हमसे दूर हो जाए, क्योंकि इमाम की कुर्बत ही हमारी निजात का जरिया है। कुरान के अंदर एक आयत है कि कुछ लोग हैं जो इस दुनिया में अंधे बने हुए हैं, वो इस दुनिया में भी अंधे हैं, उस दुनिया में भी अंधे रहेंगे, बल्कि वो सच्चे रास्ते से बहुत ही दूर हो गए। ये सूरा नंबर 17 आयत नंबर 72 है। There is a saying like this in the Quran that there are people who have made themselves blind in this world, blind to the Imam and the truth. They are blind in this world and they will be blind in the other world. And matter of fact, they will be far away from the Sirat al-Mustaqim. Surah 17, ayat number 72. इमाम फरमाते हैं कि वो जो हमें तकलीफ पहुंचाते हैं, हम डायरेक्टली शायद इमाम को तकलीफ नहीं पहुंचाते हैं, लेकिन अगर हमने उनके रूहानी बच्चों को, जमात को किसी वजह से भी, किसी तरीके से भी तकलीफ पहुंचाई, तो हमने इमाम को तकलीफ पहुंचाई। इमाम फरमाते हैं कि हमारी दुआ है कि वो हमसे दूर हो जाए। फिर खुदा ना करे कि हम गरीब, नाचीज, needy and poor who needs Imam's love and guidance and mercy, Imam ever goes away from us. खुदा ना करे कभी भी हमारे लिए ये बात हो। हमें बहुत ही, हमारा जो तरीका है वो ऐसा है जैसा हम एक पतली लाइन पे चल रहे हैं। वी आर वॉकिंग ऑन अ ग्रे लाइन and we have to be careful. On one side there is the heaven and the mercy of the Imam. Just on the other side there is the ignorancy and the fire of hell, and we are right in the middle. पुल सिरात के ऊपर हम चल रहे हैं। एक तरफ जन्नत है, एक तरफ दोज़ख, एक तरफ इल्म और इमाम की दुआएं हैं, एक तरफ जहालत और इमाम से दूरी है। आपको याद है सूरह हदीद आयत नंबर 13, you probably remember Surah Hadith 57 ayat number 13. On that day the mushrikeen, who are the mushrikeen? उस दिन मुशरकीन मर्द और औरत मोमिनों से कह रहे होंगे, ये मेरे भाई तुम हमें अपने नूर में से कुछ दे दो। क्या तुम्हें याद नहीं है कि हम भी तो तुम्हारे साथ होते थे? In this ayat, the mushrikeen, what does mushrikeen mean? मुशरकीन कौन होते हैं? आपको पता है? वो जो जमात में बैठकर जमात के अंदर खराबी पैदा करते हैं। मुशरकीन are those who are Ismailis, who sit in the jamaat khana, who sit amongst you and then divert you away from the Imam. So those mushrikeen will be requesting the Mu'mineen. ये वही मुशरकीन होंगे जो आपके दरमियान में बैठते थे और आपको इमाम से दूर ले जाते थे। वो आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे, मोमिनों से रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे कि मेरे भाई अपनी नूर, अपनी रोशनी में से हमें भी कुछ दे दो। आपके पास जो इल्म की रोशनी है उसमें हमें भी कुछ दे दो। आपके पास इमाम का जो नूर है उसमें से हमें भी कुछ दे दो। याद करो कि हम भी तो तुम्हारे साथ होते थे। देखा, ये दूर नहीं है लोग, हम भी तो तुम्हारे साथ होते थे, याद करो। ये वो हमारे भाई बहन हो गए। खुदा ना करे कि हम उस तरफ हो, इंशाल्लाह हम उन मोमिनों में से हो गए। We hope and pray we are not on the other side, but we will be on the right side, on the Sirat al-Mustaqim, among the Momin and Mominat with the light. इंशाल्लाह हम सिरात al-Mustaqim के सीधे हाथ पर हो गए कि जहां पर उनके पास इमाम का इल्म, इमाम की रोशनी, इमाम का नूर, इमाम की हिदायत, इमाम की मर्सी होगी, ना कि खुदा ना खास्ता हम इस फाइन लाइन से उस तरफ गिर गए होंगे। So Mullah says, those who hurt me, I pray that they go away from me. हम उनसे दूर रखेंगे. इस तरह चार किस्म के लोग हैं. So let's recap this four kind of people. One who loves me and do not love the world. Second, who loves me and loves the world. Imam say, I pray for you that your love for the world decreases and you pray for the Imam increases. Then there are third kind who loves the world but do not harm Imam. Mullah says, that is up to them. They do not bother me and I do not have to worry about them. Then there are fourth kind who do not love me. They love the world and they hurt us. And when they hurt us, I pray that they go away from me. हमने चार किस्म के मोमिनों को, मुझे उम्मीद है कि आप में से जो लिखने पढ़ने वाले हैं उन्होंने लिख लिया होगा. पहला मोमिन, पहला शख्स वो है जो इमाम से प्यार करता है, दुनिया की लालच नहीं रखता. दूसरा वो है जो इमाम से भी प्यार करता है और दुनिया की लालच को अपने दिल में रखता है. मौला फरमाते हैं कि मैं आपके लिए दुआ करता हूँ कि आपके अंदर से दुनिया कम हो जाए और मेरे ऊपर इश्क बढ़ जाए. तीसरे किस्म के वो है जो मुझसे प्यार नहीं करते हैं, वो दुनिया से प्यार करते हैं लेकिन मुझे तकलीफ नहीं पहुंचाते हैं, तो मैं उसकी भी फिक्र नहीं करता हूँ. Because they are not worried about me, I'm not worried about them. Fourth kind, जो मुझे प्यार नहीं करते हैं, वो दुनिया को प्यार करते हैं और मुझे तकलीफ पहुंचाते हैं. डायरेक्टली और इनडायरेक्टली इमाम को तकलीफ पहुंचाते हैं. मौला फरमाते हैं कि उनके लिए मेरी ये दुआ है कि वो मुझसे दूर हो जाए. तो ये चार किस्म के आपने लिख लिए होंगे, याद कर लिए होंगे, क्योंकि ये प्रिंसिपल हो गया. अब ये कलीद हो गई. आपको अपने आप को परखना है कि हम कहां पर खड़े हुए हैं. तो इन चार चाबियों को उठाएं और देखें कि कौन सी चाबी फिट होती है. आखिर में मौला फरमाते हैं, अब जो कोई जैसा ईमान रखे, अंडरलाइन वर्ड, उसको वैसा फायदा होगा. It is up to your faith, your imam, and your iman on your imam. That is how you will benefit. Mullah says, it is up to you. Look at it. He is giving free will to you. It is up to your faith, your iman, and that is how you will benefit. That is up to you, Mullah says. That is the underlined word, the punchline, the bottom line. That it is your free will, how faithful you are, that is how you will benefit. आखिर में मौला ने जमात को बहुत बहुत दुआ आशीष फरमाई, आमीन, और फरमाया खाना वदान, आमीन, आमीन. So let me stop here. This is the end of Farman number 23. Inshallah, we will start with Farman number 24 next week.
Aziz Ba,
Subhanallah.
I have to interrupt you.
Ji.
Aziz Ba, I'm sorry. Aziz Ba, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yasmin Shamji, I have to interrupt you. I don't know what happened. I missed quite a lot of your lecture because it was freezing. So 3 times I went out and in, and then it would say something. I checked, my side was okay, but it said your video is being used by somebody. Anyway, but it was a very nice lecture. Whatever little that I heard from you, I'm jumping here. I'm sorry. You know, when you said, I put a firm belief. Can you send me a recording of that firm belief? I don't have that firm belief. You said.
I will refer to Kamaria Sahib. He will take your number and he will share with you.
Yeah, number 1. Number 2, if you can also explain about the 4 type of farmans.
Ji. Very good.
And the third one was Aziz Ba, first time I hear which you said કે મોલા બાપા ને અમે તકલીફ આપીએ છીએ જ્યારે અમે જમાતને તકલીફ આપીએ છીએ. And so sometimes I try, પણ સામેવાળો માણસ છે ને એ doesn't want to change. મને થાય કે ના મને મોલા બાપા મને સારું કરવું છે કારણ કે મને આખરતની તૈયારી કરવી છે. But I go to that person or I try to do something, but it doesn't work.
Ji.
Do
Okay.
you understand me?
Yes. So you have 3 questions. First, how do you get your recording?
Sorry about
Kamala
that.
Sahib will help you with
Yes.
that. The second question,
I
the
mean,
4 kind of Farman. So those of you who love to read and listen to Farman, you must understand that there are 4 kind of Farman. Because if you do not understand these 4 types of Farman, agar તમને આ વાત નથી ખબર ને અગર તમને ફરમાન વાંચવાનો શોખ છે કે 4 કિસ્મના ફરમાન હોય છે તો ઘણી દફા આપણે ફરમાન વાંચતા વાંચતા ही ગુનાહ કરી નાખશું. શું કામે કે આપણને ખબર નથી કે કેટલી કિસ્મના ફરમાન હોય છે. So there are 4 types. 4 किस्म के फरमान होते हैं. अगर आपको फरमान का शौक है तो आप जरूर इस बात को याद कर ले और समझ ले. पहली टाइप जो है वो जमाने के अंदर कैद है. The first type of फरमान is for the time. It's limited into a time. For example, let's say in the time of Mullah Ali and Imam Hussein and our early Imams, there was a time of the war. An Imam will ask you to be ready with your horse and with your sword to fight the enemies of the Islam. Now that Farman is no longer valid today because it's limited into the time. So how did Imam replace this Farman? Imam says today's war is with the pen, with the ilm, with the knowledge. So prepare yourself with the ilm hakiki, with the knowledge. आज का जमाना जो है वो जंग और जदल का नहीं है. एक जमाने के अंदर जो फरमान था कि अपने घोड़े को और अपनी तलवार को तैयार रखें इस्लाम के दुश्मनों से लड़ने के लिए, वो वक्त के अंदर फरमान कैद था. आज मौला ने फरमाया कि आज की जो जंग है वो कलम से होगी. आप अपने अंदर इल्म, हकीकी इल्म और अपने मजहब की तालीम को तैयार रखें ताकि जब दुश्मन हमला करे तो आपके पास इल्म की तलवार हो. You need a pen, meaning ilm ki talwar. The sword of the ilm and the knowledge is your tool of the war today. So you see that Farman is limited into the time. Second, the Farman is limited into space. For example, 1972, 73, Mullah Baba said, you must leave Africa. In 73 again, for the Dhaka, for the Bangladesh, you must leave. Same for some Faramin for Sri Lanka and other locations where Ismaili lived. And recently in Syria, about 12, 15 years ago. That Farman is for a location limited into the space. By mistake, someone gets them in Jamaat Khana today, let's say in Zanzibar, in Dar es Salaam, in Africa somewhere, and they start reading the Farman, where Mullah Baba say you must leave Africa. How danger there would be, right? Because that Farman was limited to that time and the space back in 1970s. Their Farman is no longer valid. Matter of fact, Imam have said, if you want, you can go back to Africa. If you want, you can go back to Dhaka. You see, it was limited into the time and space. ये हो गया दो. Now we have two kind of more Farman. The third kind is of the world. दुनिया की बेहतरी के लिए फरामीन. For example, के do not do this kind of business and do this kind of business. ये धंधा करना है, ये धंधा नहीं करना है. दुनिया के लिए फरमाया. इस जगह पर आपको सोचना है, इस जगह पर नहीं सोचना है. For our worldly progress. And then the fourth kind, the spiritual Farman, for the elevation of our soul, for the salvation of our soul. So when we have that kind of eye, when we have that kind of understanding, that when we read the Farman, we should be able to tell if this Farman is for the time and the location. You remember in this very Farman, there was a one line which was limited to the time and space. Rest of the Farman was for your soul. But there was one line which was limited to the time and space. So if we understand those, then it would be beneficial. It will benefit you more because you understand how many kinds of Farman there is. And then when you start reading, then when you start to hear, listen to the Farman or come to this Farman sessions, you will have a clear understanding of what Mullah Baba is saying. Now your last question was, please ask me again, what was your third question?
The last question was, Maula Bapa wants us to be united in the Jamaat, otherwise amene dukh apiye છે.
Gee, I remember now. So remember free will, that's your answer. Remember free will. So first, I wanted to quote or paraphrase Mullah Baba's Golden Jubilee Farman of San Antonio, USA. Mullah Baba
Yes.
says, explain once, explain twice, explain thrice, and then leave them to their shallow thoughts.
Yes, yes, I
एक
remember that.
मर्तबा किसी को समझाएं, दो मर्तबा समझाएं, ज्यादा में ज्यादा 3 मर्तबा समझाएं, फिर आप उसको छोड़ दें. क्योंकि किसी को जबरदस्ती से नहीं समझाना है. Look at the last line in this very Farman. Mullah Baba says, आपका ईमान आपके हाथ में है, जैसा ईमान होगा ऐसा फायदा होगा. Imam is giving you the free will. Do not take someone's free will. Do not force someone. Do not even force your own family. Do not even force your own children. No. Imam has given the free will to you and them. It is Imam's job. Only purpose of the Imam is to guide the Jamaat. You as the ambassador have a two duty. One, take your soul to the salvation. Walk on the Sirat al-Mustaqim. Second, give your knowledge if you have any without forcing. Without forcing. Teach. Do not preach. आपने सुना है कभी ये? What is the difference between a teacher and a preacher?
Yes.
What is the difference between teacher and preacher? Preacher forces you. Preacher will tell you, you must do this. Teacher will say, I think you should do that. That's the difference. एक उस्ताद में और एक मुल्ला में ये फर्क है. मुल्ला दाढ़ी वाला आपको बोलेगा ये आप करें वरना मैं लाठी मारूंगा और तुमको दोज़ख में ले जाऊंगा. टीचर आपको बोलेगा आप ये काम करेंगे ना तो इंशाल्लाह आप जन्नत में जाएंगे. Be that
Yes.
light. जी.
Amin, amin. Thank you so much, Mola. Badi seva kabul kare.
आमीन 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 जी
So,
कामड़े साहब
so we received few questions in the chat. So the first, the friend's asking, thank you for another enlightening talk. Please, can you elaborate on the second class of man, one who loves the Imam and also loves the world? Mawla has guided us to maintain balance between Deen and Dunya. How would you reconcile the two, Farman, please?
I have to say I love you all. I was waiting for this question. If no one had asked this question, I would be very disappointed. I love all of you. So, very good question. हमारे दोस्त पूछ रहे हैं कि एक तरफ से मौला ने फरमाया कि वो लोग हैं जो हमें चाहते हैं और दुनिया को भी चाहते हैं और हम दुआ करते हैं कि उसकी दुनिया की तरफ की मोहब्बत कम हो जाए, और दूसरी तरफ से मौला फरमाते हैं कीप बैलेंस. How do we understand that? Very simple. Keep this in mind, okay? When Imam says the balance the life between deen and dunya, it does not mean that have the greed of the world in your heart. And let me give you a farman of that. Having money is not a bad thing, Mullah Baba says. But having the greed of the money is a bad thing. Keep what you need. Give, access, help your brother and sisters. So let me give you another example. Let's say we have one shop and we are making, I don't know where you're living, let's say in India, Pakistan, 1 lakh rupiah, in Americas or Europe, $10,000, 10,000 pound. You are going to Jamaat Khana because you only have one shop. You have a time for your ibadat. But then you said, wouldn't it be nice if I had 2 shops? आपके पास एक दुकान है, आप अच्छा पैसा बना रहे हैं, सुबह शाम जमात खाने भी जा रहे हैं, फिर आपके अंदर दुनिया की लालच आती है और आप कहते हैं क्या अच्छा होता अगर मेरे पास 2 जॉब होते हैं, 2 दुकानें होती, मैं 1 लाख से 2 लाख बना लेता. Instead of 10,000 I would make 20,000. That is a greed. No one is asking you not to live comfortably, nicely, earn good money, have a good home, have a good things in your world. But there is a difference between living and there is a difference between greed. इमाम क्या बोलते हैं कि आप अपने दिल में मोहब्बत, keep the love of the Imam, not the love of the world. यहाँ पर दुनिया की लालच को निकालने की बात हुई है. And that's what when I was reading that line, I reminded everyone, please listen to our previous session last week. And what was that? That if you want the didar in your heart of the Imam, you only have to do one thing. It's one single thing. And listener was surprised. सुनने वाले ताजुब में आ गए कि सर बोलता है कि इबादत भी नहीं जरूरत है, आप अपनी दिल में से दुनिया की लालच को बाहर निकालें और देखें कि इमाम आपके दिल में कैसा आता है. It is the greed of the world which is keeping the didar of the Imam from you. If you have the greed of the world in your heart, I'm warning you, I'm telling you that Imam is praying for you to have his nur, at least one in your lifetime. It will never touch your heart because your heart is full of the greed of the world. Please be careful in the balancing of the two, deen and dunya. Balance means give the equal time. There is no way we are following this Farman. There is no way. Are you giving 12 hours to your deen? Are you saying, are you keeping the balance? Are you giving 12 hours to deen and 12 hours to your dunya? Are you really keeping the balance? क्या आप वाकईअन इमाम के फरमान के मुताबिक दीन और दुनिया में बैलेंस करते हैं, या आप इमाम की मजाक उड़ाते हैं? क्या आप 12 घंटे इमाम को और 12 घंटे दुनिया को देते हैं? That would be the balance. Are we doing that? Ask yourself. No, we love world more. हम 18 घंटे 21 घंटे दुनिया को देते हैं, मुश्किल से 2-3 घंटे इमाम को देते हैं. Where is that balance? Be careful. जी.
Sir, there's another question, I think not from today's topic, from previous. So friends asking, Mola makes copies of himself when a woman becomes Asal Mein Wasal. Mola will make them owners of the spiritual heavens. My question is, if there are copies of Mola in the spiritual world, then there are so many Mola's copies in the spiritual world, but still there is one Almighty. So it is like a drop in an ocean in a drop. And Imam Ali said, the whole universe is inside you.
Okay, there is lot of question here. It's not a one question. Lot of question. चले हम कोशिश करते हैं, इंशाल्लाह अली अल्लाह मदद फरमा. Imam and the Noor. I wanted to give you the most simplest answer. Do you know what board of piece of puzzles are? The entire board of puzzle. Do you know what that is? आपको पता है कि piece of puzzles क्या होते हैं? आप उसका एक बोर्ड लें जिसमें बहुत सारे छोटे 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 pieces of puzzles होते हैं. We are those pieces of puzzles, and the entire board is the Imam. हम एक भी है और बहुत सारे pieces भी है. We are one and we are a lot at the same time. हम यहाँ भी है, हम इमाम के अंदर भी है. We are here and we are in the Imam. We have never left the Asal Maqam, but we have come over here as a shadow, says Rumi. हम असल का मकाम छोड़ के कब आए थे? ये तो सिर्फ हमारा साया है. तो आपने देखा, it's called all in one, one in all. Absolutely, we are the copies, the shadow of the Imam. We are with him in his hakikat, and we are shadow on the world. जिस तरह से इंसान का एक साया होता है जो उसके साथ साथ चलता है, और एक आदमी खुद होता है. Imam is that man, and we are all his shadow, his copies. But we are never disconnected from him. And that is the understanding of وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ أَثْنَاهُ فِي إِمَامٍ مُبِينٍ. I wanted to add one more thing in this question with your permission. You said there are copies of the Imam in the heaven. I wanted to add there are copies of the Imam in this world. G.
Sir, I don't see any questions in the chat. Friends, if you have any questions, unmute your device.
Aziz bhai, okay, Mola also tells us that you save enough money for your children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. Now, if there is no grid, now, just like how much money Now, if I am not going to sort of work that much hard to save that money from my children and grandchildren and great grandchildren, now, how much money do I need to do that? So I have to keep greed of the world in order to keep on working hard to save that much money for them as well, isn't it?
Very good question. Inshallah, it will be very easy answer. So let's take some example. In the time of our forefather, when the education and the human skills were not that high, and you would see the grandfather, great grandfather, if they are poor, the father will be poor, the children will be poor, and their children will be poor. Now, fast forward 100 years in today's time. Have you ever talked to your children? I have. You know what my children tells me? And that is honest to God truth. I'm going to tell you how this works. Like I said, very good question, but very easy answer. When I ask my children that whatever I have will be yours when I die, you know what my children said? Dad, you have given us the best money, and that is education. You have given us the best skill, that is our money. You have taught us right from the wrong, that is the treasure, inheritance you are leaving us. Instead of leaving us the money, because if we don't need your money, we will pass this on to our children, the three things that you have left us with: the education, the skill, and the right path. We will give to our children. They will not need your money either. So when you die, make sure, either before you die or when you die, leave all to the charity. That is our children today. How amazing is that? If your children are poor, you should definitely leave something for them. If you think your grandchildren will be uneducated, unskilled, and will not be able to earn for themselves and their children, definitely leave for them. That is Imam's Farman. You should think of your family first. I agree with you 100%. We must think of our family first. But Imam has used a magic word. Houston, Texas, 3 years ago in Diamond Jubilee, Imam says this magic word: do not forget your extensive family in the third world. તમે ભૂલી નહીં જાજો તમારી ફેમિલી, તમારી જમાતને જે ગરીબ છે. Remember, as the time changed, at one time, khoja uthave boja. We were so poor. It was important for us to think of ourselves and our children and our grandchildren. Today, Imam is drawing your attention to the wider Jamaat, the family, the brother and sister who are in need today. So do not forget that Farman. This is the latest Farman. Lend a hand where help is needed. Listen to Imam's Farman today and then decide. Greed is not good. Having money is not an issue. Being rich, not an issue. Living good things for your children, not an issue. But do not forget the brother and sister, your extensive family, जो हमारे जमात के भाई बहन हैं। आज हमारे भाई बहन भूखे मर रहे हैं और हम हमारा पैसा हमारे बच्चों के लिए छोड़ रहे हैं। ये इमाम का फरमान नहीं है। Give your children 3 things. They will not need your money. Good education. Imam's Farman. I'm not saying that. Good skill. Imam's Farman. I'm not saying that. Give them the right path, the truth. Imam is saying that. I'm not saying that. If you give these 3 things from the Imam's Farman to your children, you would not have to worry about them anymore. Ji.
Again,
Aziz
thank you
Ba.
so much.
Aziz Ba, this Farman, I remember one thing that just explained. Sultan Mama Shah કહેતા હતા કે બીજી કોમ્યુનિટીમાં એ લોકોનો પૈસો થર્ડ જનરેશન સુધી રહે છે, તમારો નથી રહેતો. Where does this fit in?
Yes, it's the same line of question. Same line of
Okay.
question. Why Imam said that? When did Imam say that? 100 years ago, right? When
Yes.
ખોજા ઉઠાવે બોજા ચાલી રહ્યું હતું.
Okay.
Because આપણે ગરીબ હતા તો એક શીખવા માટે કે તમે પૈસા બચાવશો તો તમે એક નાનકડી દુકાન લઈ શકશો, તમારા બચ્ચાને એક દુકાન મળશે, તમારા બચ્ચાના બચ્ચાઓને એક દુકાન મળશે. તમે પૈસા બચાવશો તો એક ઘર લઈ શકશો, તમારા બચ્ચાઓને એક રહેવા માટે જગા મળશે, એના બચ્ચાઓને એક રહેવા માટે જગા મળશે. બીકોઝ આપણા કાંઈ હતું જ નહીં. એજ્યુકેશન નહોતું, સ્કિલ નહોતું, સમજ નહોતી.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
સેમ લાઈન ઓફ ક્વેશ્ચન.
Okay. One more question. તમે કીધા ને કે દુનિયાને આઉટ કરો અને have મોલા બાપા in your heart. તો where does this Farman fit in? Where Sultan Mama Shah કહે છે કે તમારો શરીર તમારી સાથે, લેકિન તમારો દિલ તમારો આત્મા મારી સાથે, રૂહ તમારી મારી સાથે. So how do we balance there?
Yeah, it's actually a strange question. Let me fix the question. Okay.
Yes.
So, Imam says, your soul is always with me and your body is with you. Tomorrow sharir.
Yeah.
The heart is the place of the Imam to sit. Apro dil apro nathi. सच है कहा उसने, एक गंजे खुदा है दिल, इश्क हकीकी से वीराना पड़ा है दिल. બહુ જ કડક ઉર્દુ છે, શાયદ સમજમાં નહીં આવશે, હું એક્સપ્લેન કરું છું. કે છે કે તમારો દિલ છે ને જી, એ ખજાનો છે, ઇમામના ખજાનાથી ભરેલો છે. લેકિન અફસોસ છે કે તમારો દિલ છે ને, ઇમામના ઇશ્કથી ખાલી પડ્યો છે. So the reason sometimes we do not understand the Farman is because we mix up in the translation, we mix up the Farman. So we have to find the original Farman in the original language. And then we will see that soul belongs to the Imam and the body belongs to the human. But the heart is the place of these Imams sitting and Imam's Didar and the treasure of the Imam. सच है कहा उसने, एक गंजे खुदा है दिल, जबकि इश्क हकीकी से वीराना पड़ा है दिल. जी, I hope this answers your question.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, brother Shiraz, you have the question?
Yeah, Yali Madad, sir.
याली मदद.
Sir, first of all, my apology. जब से हमने शुरू किया आपको सुनने के लिए, then I lost my internet for over 30-40 minutes, maybe more. So I may have lost something that you had already told. But when you started that subject by saying Sultan Muhammad Shah, I said, if you want my Didar, come to Khane and say dua. But then I understand that afterwards, Sultan Muhammad Shah has also made a farman that this Jamaat Khanas are only a house of bricks and stones. Actual Jamaat Khana is in your heart. Let me finish my question, yeah? So in present circumstances, and I did ask you this question before, you see, because of this circumstances, we cannot go to Jamaat Khana because me and my wife, we are both 80-year-old, and our children will not let us go by public transport to go to Jamaat Khana, etc. So we sit home and we don't say dua on ourselves because we want to make it into an atmosphere of a family Jamaat. So we don't join Zoom Jamaat Khana, don't understand me. We join prayer circles, friends and family prayer circles. So isn't that as good as, joining? Will not we get the sawab of saying our dua? I mean, okay, we don't have Mukhi Kamra Sahibs there, we won't have Khana Vadan, we understand, but the circumstances are such. Is there anything wrong in doing that, sir? I asked that question before, but today again another question has come up, so I would like to have your views on this.
Ji. So let's understand 3 levels of education, 3 levels of ilm, 3 levels of understanding. First level, primary level. I did use that word, primary level. Primary level, the child must go to school to learn. Momin must go to Jamaat Khana to pray. Primary level education. Secondary level of education. You can do your homework at home to improve on your education. You can do your dua and tasbih at home as per Imam's Farman to improve on your spiritual enlightenment. Secondary level, right? And then there is a high level education, and that is the living Jamaat Khana is in your heart. So when you pray or when you give your dua, make sure you're doing with a complete heart, with a good niyat. And then there is one more level after that. So there is a brick and mortar Jamaat Khana, there is a Jamaat Khana in your heart, and Imam is the living Jamaat Khana. So when you are saying your dua, don't just go to brick and mortar. Don't just go to your heart. Go into the Imam's heart. How nice that would be. But that is very high level of education. So today, in the very Farman Mawla Baba says, if there is no Jamaat Khana available, or for whatever reason you cannot go to Jamaat Khana, take your tasbih, remember Allah, remember Prophet, remember Imams, remember. And that is important. So दुआ पढ़नी important है. कहाँ किस तरह कभी पढ़ते हैं वो important नहीं है. Because Imam's Farman is very clear. If you have a 5 seconds, if you have a 10 seconds, remember. That is important. We must understand the levels of the tariqah, level of the school, level of the knowledge, level of the Farman. Farman on the primary levels, Farman on the secondary level, Farman on the high level. Ji.
Yali Madad.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you. Can we have prayers with pure heart and with pure understanding and with all the remembrance of? So I'm sure Hazir Imam is accepting it.
Ameen. Beshak. Indeed.
If I get just 2 more minutes, in Paris, when Hazir Imam gave his Didar of Silver Jubilee, my family was living in Germany, and Jamaat Khana was 3 hours ride from where it was in Bad Salzuflen. Now it's only a half an hour drive from Bochum where we live. And we used to have Jamaat Khana from home. And when my mother had decided that when I go to the Memani, I will ask this question to Hazir Imam whether it's acceptable. But when we went there, the leaders told us, no, you should not ask any questions or anything like that. So to cut the story short, after my mother had passed, Hazir Imam gave her blessings and everything, accepted Memali. She went away very disappointed. My brother was next on the line. After he finished his blessing, he said, he asked my brother, sorry if I get emotional, tell your mother I accept all her sevas. Tell her Khana Watan. And my mother, this is what he said. Hazimam is accepting everything that you do, but you have to do it with your prayer. But I don't know how we can make people understand that what we are doing is not Zoom Jamaat Khana. We are doing prayer, family and friends prayer circles. There is a difference between Jamaat Khana and praying circles. But I don't know.
Shiraz, you do not have to make anyone understand. It doesn't matter what people say and think. It only matters what your intentions are. Don't worry about it. Don't waste your 1 second of thought. Just don't worry about it. Do what is right and do with a good intention. That is important. Do not worry about it. ठीक है? All right, चलें next.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
યાલી મદદ
યાલી
મારા
મદદ.
મારા બે નાના સવાલ છે. પહેલો સવાલ ઈ છે કે સુલતાન મહમદ શાહનું ફરમાન છે કે મોહમ્મદ માટે 24 કલાક દીદાર છે, તો ઈ કેવી રીતે? અને બીજું સવાલ ઈ છે કે મોહમ્મદને સુખ ને દુઃખ શા માટે જોઈએ? મોહમ્મદ હંમેશા ખુશ રહે છે.
જી.
હા, તો એટલે સુખ અને દુઃખ એટલે શું દુનિયાનું ન હોવું જોઈએ? અને ખુશ એટલે શું રૂહાની સુખ હોવું જોઈએ આપણે હંમેશના માટે?
Okay, so I almost remembered this Farman. So let me paraphrase. मोमिन हर हमेशा खुशी में होता है, क्यों कि वो रूहानी मस्ती में होता है. Imam says, Momin is always happy because he is intoxicated in the spiritual world, spiritual sense. The didar of the Imam, if Imam is in your heart, then of course the didar is the 24-hour didar. Whenever you pay attention to your heart, you will find the Imam there. In the Quran says, I am wherever you are. Imam is always with you. Mullah Baba says, I am always with you. I am always with you. Only thing we have to do is open our eyes and have the didar anytime we wish. And of course, दुनिया का दुख नहीं करना है. In one of the Farman Mullah Baba says कि तुम्हारा पैसा चला जाए, तुम्हारो डिकरो चलो जाए, तो भी दुख नहीं करजो. दुख खाली तुम्हारो ईमान ना चालू जाए एनो हो जाए. Even if you lose your money, even if you lose your son, do not be unhappy. Only be unhappy if you lose your faith. તો દુનિયાનું દુઃખ કઈ વાતનો? દુનિયા તો 4 દિવસની છે. આજે છે કાલે નથી. શું ફરક પડે છે? જો એક ગરીબ માણસ બી આવશે, જીવશે ને મરી જશે. એક પૈસાવાળો બી આવશે, જીવશે ને મરી જશે. તો દુઃખ કઈ વાતનો ભાઈ? હા, દુઃખ થવું જોઈએ અગર આપણો ઈમાન ચાલ્યો જાય. We have to think bigger. આપણે અહીંયાથી વિચારવાનું છે, ઉપરથી. આપણે નીચેથી વિચાર કરશો તો નાનો નાનો વિચાર કરશો. ઉપરથી વિચાર કરો કે દુનિયા છે ખાલી 4 દિવસની. Why should we worry? હા, એમ નથી કે we not going to work and we going to go hungry and we going to leave our family. No, that's not what I'm saying. But when a hardship comes, try to resolve it, but do not lose your iman on the Imam. That ફરમાન ને સમજવું એટલું મુશ્કેલ છે. ત્યારે તો આપણે ઘણી દફા ફરમાન ને ઉલટા સીધી જગા માથે કોટ કરીને આપણે ખબર નહીં કઈ દુનિયાના અંદર ફસાઈ જાય છે. Be careful. Think from the top, not from the bottom. It will give you the happiness, inshallah. જી.
યારી મદદ અઝીઝભાઈ. ઓકે, આપણે હમણાં તમે કીધું કે ઈમાન સલામત રહે, બરાબર? તો હવે ક્વેશ્ચન શું છે કે અત્યારે મૌલાના સુલતાન મામૂદ શાહે કીધું છે કે તમે ઈમાન સલામત એટલે તમારી બધી ચીજ આવી ગઈ. It is completely everything is inside. પણ ઈમાન સલામત ઉપર જો if you can analyze and tell us more in detail. મને ખબર છે કે you say ફરમાન બરદારી ને આ બધું, but does it mean that it is iman? કે iman something is different? કે if you can analyze કે બધું explain કરો કે what is iman then?
Very, very simple answer. લાંબી ચોડી વાત કરવાની જરૂર નથી. Very simple answer. Keep your iman on the Imam as Ali Allah. તમારું ઈમાન એવું હોવું જોઈએ કે તમે પોતાના ઇમામને અલી અલ્લાહ જાણીને માનો. મને તમારી એક જ ચિંતા છે, પીર કે છે કે તમે ઇમામને માણસ રૂપે જાણ્યા. That is iman. Iman is not that we say the 3 times dua and give the dasan and go to the madras and go to Jamaat Khana. That's not iman. Any Tom, Dick and Harry can do that. Iman is how do you see your imam. A simple છે, વધારે deep માં જવાની જરૂરત નથી. જી. So it's 9:22. Kamle Sahib, should we stop here?
So yeah, we can do that. I don't see any questions in the chat.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. May Ali Allah be with you. May Imam keeps
Amen.
your iman on him. May
Amen.
you have his didar. May you
Amen.
always have his didar.
Amin.
May you always
Amen.
remember him according to his farman.
Amin.
Amin.
Amin. Very much.
Yali madad. Yali madad.
Yali madad.
Ya Ali Madad.
Yali
Thank
madad.
you.
Ya Ali Madad.
Yali
Thank
madad.
you.
Shukran, alhamdulillah.
Ali Madad.
Yali madad.